Hello, welcome all. The topic of our today's discussion is design for manufacturability. I am Sebastian Suresh, Assistant Professor, Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering. The term manufacturing fault or the design for manufacturing fault comes when there are three possible categories that we are going to do, or why we are going to do this is to identify the types of faults that can occur while fabricating an IC, and then to analyze what are the kinds of faults that will occur in the future ICs, and also to provide solutions when a fault does occur. So there are different ways to optimize a circuit when a manufacturing fault occurs. So the first kind of faults are like physical defects, right? So physical defects in the sense there may be a short circuit problem, or it may be a interconnect problem. So the interconnect, there may be two or more interconnects touching each other. Packaging defects, the packaging of the IC may not be proper, and the process problem, that there may be a process deviation while making a mask layer, like that. So in order to avoid these kinds of faults, some of the design rules have been proposed, like if a short circuit fault is occurring, we can reduce that by increasing the space between the wires. Similarly, if a open circuit fault occurs, it can be it can be reduced by increasing the number of via points across the interconnect. And finally, overlap of contacts or interconnects can be made so that it reduces misalignment of the layers. So that is there may be the interconnects may be cascaded one over the other, so that there may be a misalignment problem between that, so which in turn causes short circuit or open circuit problems. The second kind of optimization is about redundancy, right? So there is a case that purposefully same set of circuits can be added in the circuit. Say for example, if a circuit is going to perform addition, so there may be a secondary unit which also performs the same operation. So this is done because if the primary circuit fails, the circuit can use the secondary circuit to perform the same operation. So like a reconfigurable unit or reconfigurable logic, like a fail safe, something like that, right? So this is also called as a reconfigurable method. So that is some portion of logic or interconnect is modified so as to keep the circuit in a running condition by using the excess circuitry. The third type is about the power problem. So that is power in the sense the heat. When there is an excess power utilized by a circuit, there may be a cause of heat across the IC. So the removing or dissipation of this heat is more important in increasing the lifetime of an IC. So there may be several techniques, several methods that has been proposed for removing the heat, which is done because in order to avoid a thermal breakdown in an IC. So there may be a heat sink provided, or sometimes the dynamic power dissipation is may be caused so that it can be nullified by switching off blocks which are not currently in use, or making the appropriate nodes or circuits to go under sleep mode, so that it will minimize the amount of power consumptions. And there may be a possibility that the device may be operated at a reduced supply voltage. So these are all some of the solutions that are proposed for reducing the heat generated at a running condition. The third one is process speed. So process speed can be affected by means of delay. So there may be two types of delay. One is systematic, another one is random. In systematic delay, so it can be measurable. That is, while designing itself, the designer will create a appropriate model for it, so that it will generate the amount of delay that will be happening while the circuit works under normal operating conditions. So this kind of delay can be predictable, and necessary actions can be made before during the design process itself. Whereas in random condition or a random type of delay. So this is mainly happening during the fabrication, that is after design and design steps. So these kind of delays cannot be predictable, and how much delay it will incur to the circuit, it also is it is unstable. So for that, a proposed method is Monte Carlo analysis, which provides a model so as to analyze the process speed of a particular IC. So it changes kind of it shows the kind of delays that can be incurred during the process, and what are the techniques that can be, or what are the areas that design can be improved so that random and systematic delays can be eliminated. And the final one is about yield analysis. Yield is nothing but number of good dies that are manufactured in a when compared to a total number of dies that has been manufactured. That is the percentage of good chips in a manufacturing. So the yield analysis is a major thing which imparts the amount of manufacturing cost involved in the of a company. So there is a thing that there may be a massive failures of number ICs that follows the same procedure as like previous set of ICs, where the previous set of ICs were passing the IC test, whereas this set of ICs made by the same process but also they are failing. So this is called as yield turnaround. So that is when massive failures occur on parts that were previously passing. So this also can be avoided by making possible changes in the process methods. So these are all some of the ways by which manufacturing defects can be avoided. So let me recap. So whatever we have seen. So design for manufacturability is that, so during the design process itself, so what kind of improvements and what kind of considerations we have to make so that the IC may never fail. The first one we have seen is about physical defects. So how what are the types of physical defects and how can we avoid the different types of physical defects. Second one is about usage of redundant logic or an extra logic so that it may be used for in case the primary circuit fails. And the third one is about how the heat generated by an IC can be eliminated. And the fourth one is about to reduce what are the methods or what are the possible ways in which we can able to reduce the delay that is caused in a circuit. And the last one is about analyzing the number of good chips in a wafer so as to predict the number of good chips that can be provided or that can be manufactured during the coming schedules of manufacturing. So that's it for today. Thank you all. Be safe.